Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode on Soul Conversation. Me and Leland had a conversation like we always have conversations, but I received like a download from my spirit about what we're going to talk about today, about relationship, feminine and masculine energies, our relationship, how simple it is to kind of withdraw and go into, no, this is a trigger. I will not take my full responsibility and kind of react a person without even knowing him, which is Leland, but I will talk about that. So Leland, welcome back, and let's have even more real and raw.
Yeah, I love it.
Conversations.
Like our discussions always turn out to be.
Exactly.
Anyway. Yeah. Thanks for having me on again.
And I think as well, I'm going to start. So I'm going to start with what I shared with you just a couple of minutes ago. I was introduced, like, if you have listened to the first episode with Leland, if you haven't, go back and do that. But otherwise, I was introduced through Dauntless PR with Leland's bio and everything. And I immediately went into, it was your Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was a video about you sharing, you've been to a medical appointment and you were sitting in the car and talking. And I love your energy, obviously, since we're here. But it was something in, I know now that it was your Leo energy in your moon, but I didn't, like, it was something how you said, I don't know exactly what you said, but kind of the way when you swear and are like in the energy of calling, I would say calling the collective out.
Yeah.
And my whole body was like leaning back in a nervous system response.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to talk to him. Like, no, I'm not going to. And it was really, and then I went out from that video and I did something else. And then I was pulled back the day after or something. I was like, okay, what am I doing? There's something in here.
Yeah.
And I sent you a message and we started to like chat on Messenger and then on WhatsApp, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And then we had our call. I don't know if it was voice note.
Yeah, you're somewhere around that.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting since for me right now, like you are one of my closest one and we have only known each other for, I don't know, 2 months or something.
Right.
But what if, Leland, I would have listened to my wounded, I'm thinking now, wounded, I think it was both wounded masculine and feminine.
Sure. Yeah, it's your wounded inner child, right? We're all operating from that wounded inner child space, all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the things too, like we've talked about, that has forced me to miss out on probably some really amazing people, some really amazing experiences, because it's natural to operate from that space, just like you saw in that video. And I know which one you're talking about. For context, I had just been diagnosed with my reoccurrence of cancer on my birthday last June. And I had this really great ceremony, picked out with veteran brothers of mine who are also combat veterans, the Marines. And I was going to let them know what my new challenge is. Like, oh shit, I got to go back into it again, guys. It's time to find myself and heal this body once again.
Yeah.
And something had happened where parties and drugs and blah, blah, blah had like taken them away from the ceremony space that we had set up for that weekend. So I was operating from a seriously wounded, like, wow, you just betrayed me on like a seriously important weekend. So it was like, I was about to tell my closest brothers, hey, they just diagnosed me with stage 3 or 4, colon cancer reoccurrence. I need you guys. You know, it was one of those weekends where I was going to come out with that, and then they blew me off for parties, and, you know, and then all of a sudden I'd be, so yeah, I know the video you're talking about. And to your point, it's normal for us to operate from that place, right? It's what happens next, like what you did next, right? Instead of allowing that blame, which is what happens to all of us, right? You see something, you hear something, or somebody says something, and immediately you judge that person, and then you start to blame them for the way that you feel. You
absolutely.
Oh my God.
You.
Yeah, exactly. You're making me feel this way. You're making me do this. So it's natural. It is. The choice, though, like you made, is, am I going to shame, which means I disagree and I'm going to stick with this blame? You made me feel thusly, therefore you cannot be in my energy field. Or are you going to notice and become aware of the mirror that was just given to you? Because every experience you ever have, anything anybody ever says to you or does, is literally just a mirror of you. The way that you respond or react to that person is a mirror of your wounded inner child. So what you did is what I did later that day. I noticed and came back and recognized, like, okay, obviously they can't be in my experience right now. However, I don't need to carry this blame and shame along with me for what they did. Let them be human and not wrong or bad in their experience, but just not aligned for mine. So I love the way that you talk through it, because you let yourself notice and then become aware that, oh, this is my inner woundedness. And, you know, so, and here we are.
And here we are. But also what you're saying, like, I love your share now, because the context was that you were coming from wounded. So most probably I was picking up on, like, I was mirroring back, back and forth.
You felt that fire, like you said.
Exactly.
Yeah, you felt the fire.
Something I shared with you, but I'm sharing with all of you now, is also that Leland, like, how can I say? Energetically, I feel so aligned with you when it comes to the way we operate, like our thought systems, energetically experiences. I haven't experienced your thing, but we have, like, it's also, I know that I can trigger a lot of people just being who I am, or speaking my truth, especially speaking my truth, I would say. And in something we will talk about today, a little bit about love and relationship and the feminine and masculine. This is one example, but because there is a lot of blame and a lot of judging, blah, 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 out there right now in the collective. Online and
everywhere.
In person, everywhere.
It's their fault. No, it's their fault.
Exactly.
Oh, my Lord.
But would you say, okay, this is something I wanted to ask you. I haven't yet.
Yeah.
If you go back, like, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, whatever, who were you? Like, if we talk about what is, like, wounded, or whatever you call it, masculine and feminine energies, like, how did you operate? Like, how were you amongst other women, like, from your energy before?
So this is I think the core of the problem that we're seeing around the world is you've got wounded feminine and wounded masculine on both sides screaming at each other about who did what to the other. And there's no coming to the center. There's no safety for either one inside of each other's energy fields. So when you look at, if you ask where I was about 2 years ago, I was at the end of a very toxic relationship with a covert narcissist. And it was because, and this is one of the things I want people to recognize, I now know I called that person into my experience. Why? Because I was in this wounded masculine place where, yes, I created safety for other people, especially women, because, you know, raised by a mother, you know, like we've talked about in the last one with my dad, like I understood from a very young age, women need to feel safe. You need to make sure women in your presence don't feel preyed upon or don't feel looked down upon. Just make them feel safe. Allow them to feel okay in their own skin and okay in their own way of being, even if that's against how you see life should be lived type of thing. Just create safety. So that's what I do for everybody now, especially females. But for myself, what I noticed is I called that person in. We call in the partner that we are currently in that state of. If your nervous system is in chaos, is in the wounded masculine or wounded feminine, if you are in the blame and shame side of things, you're going to call a partner in that's going to mirror that shit. Why? Not because you're being punished, but because spirit, source, whatever, energy, whatever you call it, wants you to learn a lesson so you can finally evolve past what's happening and what you're calling into your life. So for me, 2 years ago, I was ending a cycle of calling in the wrong partner and allowing that to happen type of thing. So that's where, like, the past 2 years, I've really gotten to sit and finalize into this more divine masculine, grounded masculine presence. For those that don't like the divine word in there, grounded is another way to say it. Grounded masculine or grounded femininity. It's you're grounded and rooted in the truth of yourself. And when you can operate from that standpoint, you let go of all the other chaos, and pointing fingers, and all the other garbage.
Because I love that, because I was also thinking like, okay, if I go 2 years back in time, would me and Leland, would I have been able to meet you? And most probably not, because me and my love was in operating from our wounded spaces as well, a lot. Like I was very much when we met in my kind of anxious attachment and ambivalent as well. So it was like back and very much, there was so much emotions all over the place and space. And he more the avoidant and distance and online. So I think for me, it was like over and over and over again, I had to meet myself in my anxious and take responsibility. But I think I broke up with him like 15 times, something, and he was still there. But it's I think I wouldn't have met you. Like if we would have met back then,
we might have just bounced off of each other, because at that point in time, y'all were the enemy. And at that point in time, we were the enemy for you. So, we might have just bounced off of each other because we were in our villain era.
Exactly. So if you if for anyone listening, what would you say is, and you were also in a narcissistic relationship with, so that's pretty so the woman back then, she was kind of the enemy. More the abuser. Exactly.
Exactly.
That's also interesting, because most of the time we talk of the men being narcissistic. So let's go a little bit into that.
So this is where right now I caution people against feminism, and I caution people against the machismoism as well. It's like, oh my God, both of those sides, guys, are too far on the extreme. They literally, like we're talking about, they're just busy pointing fingers. I am thusly because, no, you are thusly because of you. Okay. Every time you point your finger out, I want you to recognize it's 3 fingers pointing back at you. It's always,
oh my God, I need to do that.
Always
How did you do?
When you're
Oh,
pointing
yes.
at somebody else, just look, you've got 3 fingers
Yep.
pointing you. So yeah, you may have one and the thumb pointing at the other person, but you got 3 pointing back at yourself. That should tell you physiologically right there.
Yeah.
Who is responsible? So that's the problem with the feminist movement and this machismo garbage that I see out there as well for the guys, is this unbalanced approach of pointing the finger and never really getting at the root cause
Yeah.
of why you're experiencing this type of energy when you're around a woman or when you're around a guy. Why do I not feel safe when I'm talking to females? Why do I feel like they're trying to get something from me? Or for females, why do I feel like he just wants sex? Why do you know, all these other things? It's because we're programming that into ourselves by looking across the table at the other sex and thinking they're the enemy. If we operate from that standpoint, when are we ever going to allow ourselves to come to the middle and recognize that we need the feminine energy? We need the masculine energy. We ourselves have both inside of our body. You have a feminine side and you have a masculine side. It doesn't matter what sex you were born as.
No.
You have both of those energies, the yin and the yang, inside of you. So it comes from that balanced standpoint that allows you to be whole, whether you are on your own or with a partner. That doesn't matter. It matters about the balance within before you can see that balance show up afterwards. If you want a balanced partner, how are you going to find them? By thinking they're the enemy. That makes absolutely no sense. Like, oh my God, the things that people are operating from right now are these broken mental standpoints where you want to call in the proper partner, but you immediately look at the opposite sex as the enemy. Like, where are you not seeing the failing in this? Like, you're tying your own shoelaces together before you get up to run the marathon. Like, come on, of course you're going to trip and fall on your face. Has to come from this balanced standpoint. And here's the one thing I tell people. You'll know immediately if somebody is good for you. When you saw my video, the ego popped up because, of course, that wounded space, right? But then you were aware enough to recognize, hold on, though, there was something else in there that made me feel comfortable. So the one thing I tell people is your nervous system, your heart, everything is built to intuitively pick up. You will know just being in that person's energy if you're watching a video, or especially if you're inside of their physical bubble, you will automatically, your body will tell you, this person is safe. This person is comfortable. You will automatically know based on that feeling intuitively whether this is something that you should explore, whether it's friendship, partnership, whatever else. And then further from that standpoint, allowing yourself, after you get that initial safety signal from your nervous system, allowing yourself to then notice and be aware, even if down the road that person triggers you. And there's been conversations we've had where something you said has triggered me, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, where is that coming from? Why is that triggering me? Okay, oh, okay, yeah, that's attached to this and my wounded little Leland that, you know. It's just those two things literally can absolutely shift everything. Stop looking at the opposite sex as the enemy. If you're declaring them the enemy, how the hell are you ever going to find your partner in that? That's just a broken mindset.
And I think it was actually when I went back to Facebook, that's when I saw someone had comment on your welcome home method that you have in the whatever. Pin. And I was like, this is interesting. I need to check this out. And then as soon as I pressed play, because it's on YouTube, my body relaxed. And then I was hooked, of course.
There's that sign, right? There's your signal.
Then I knew, and I felt like I had the sensation immediately and all of that. But and this is also something I want to say, that if you want to, because we all have relationships. I mean, otherwise you can't have clients, or if you have your business, or at work, or family, or children, whatever. I will invite you to go. We will have the link again, but to try your welcome home, not try, but to do it, actually do it, but not only once, but more than once. And then you also have the 60 seconds on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you call it FIRE?
60 seconds to freedom.
Okay, 60 seconds. And start to integrate them, so your nervous system starts to, because I've never, like, I love your breath work.
Thank
and
you.
I truly want more people to experience it. And if you procrastinate, like, I don't know.
You mean if they're human?
Yeah, exactly. And feel like, oh, I don't have time. Post it everywhere to, like, because I think I've done the longer ones that you had, like the 30 minutes, and it is intense, but I can feel the shift. And then I have like a energetic hangover the day after, and then it's kind of recalibrate. Something is shifting.
Yeah, you're recalibrating your nervous system. You're literally rewiring yourself. That's why I created the welcome home method the way you're experiencing it. And I'm glad that you're seeing that. And that's the thing too, to your point, when people tell me I just don't have time. Well, you're making a choice. You don't find time. You create that time for yourself. You give yourself permission. And that's why I actually created that 1 minute and the 5 minute practice, because I've heard that from so many friends and so many people. It's like, okay, instead of, again, blaming and shaming on the mentor side of things, how about I create a minute expression, a 5 minute expression, and show you don't need 30 minutes. You need 60 seconds. You got a minute, 5 minutes. You got, you have that much time for yourself. So that's why those are on YouTube for the folks that think they don't have time. I get it. I was there too. At one point in time, I thought I had to find time. I didn't fall on the knowledge that I had to create that time for myself. So that's why those practices are out there. And then eventually, once you move to the longer ones, like you're experiencing now, your breath is the one system in your body that is A, automatic, and B, controlled. It is the only system in your body that is running by itself and can also be dipped into. And it is the control mechanism of your brainstem. It is the control mechanism of your entire nervous system. This place in the bottom of your brainstem called the medulla oblongata is where your pre-Botzinger complex is. That is what controls your rhythmic breath, even when you're not thinking about it. That's what controls your blood pressure, your heart rate, everything comes from that survival instinct. And what controls all of those functions? Your breath. So the more you can allow yourself to do it, you're literally rewiring yourself from the inside out.
And since everyone, I say everyone now, and me included, absolutely, have been operating from survival energy.
Yes.
So is this also something I can teach my children?
Absolutely. This is like, oh my God, this is what we should be teaching our children in school. Okay, cool. I love geography. I love history. I love math and all these other things. But if you're not teaching these little people how to shift this, what the hell is the rest of that going to do anyways? The breath controls better learning, better memory, better cognitive functions. Hello. So if we can teach our children those things first, then all the things they're learning in school will actually soak in, will actually take hold. They'll actually become intelligent, sovereign beings that can critically think for themselves versus just being dumbed down the way the educational system is now. Be a good robot, say what I say. Like, no, teach them how to regulate their system first and watch the magic and watch them also not have to deal with all the shit we dealt with in our lives, right? Like, here, let me try to help you manage not experiencing as much trauma as I have, because I want you to have these tools going out there into a world where you're going to hit bad energy and bad times. You know, it's part of the journey. So, but if you know how to regulate yourself from a very young age, oh my God, You might not grow up with the woundedness that you and I did.
No, exactly, because I'm very much into emotional regulation on that, but this is part of, I want to introduce them to, so it might be that you might have a call with them.
I
Let's
love
see,
it. I love it.
because you know how it is.
Yeah.
I'm the
yeah.
mother. Sometimes they're like, oh my God, here she
You're the
goes again.
last person they listen to. They listen to friends first, then they listen to friends' parents. Hey, back up off me. They listen to friends' parents, then they listen to general society, then they listen to their
Yep.
parents. I know.
So,
we were kids too. That was how we were too. Like, all right, mom said this. What do you guys think?
and I also think like they have big dreams, both of them. And my son wants to be a professional football player, and he's in that. So that's something I know as well. Like if he starts to really expand his breathwork, like
Oh my God, he'll be an elite
now,
athlete.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is also, and my daughter is more leaning into, it was artist, but now it's more most probably law.
Oh, I like
Lawyer.
it.
And she wants to go to New York after. Like they both are like, okay, they want, and they are teenagers now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
I like that. And for any parent listening, the number one breath for your children, especially teenagers, is something called Brahmari breath out of yoga, or the bumblebee breath. And it's literally just taking a deep breath in and then humming as long as you can. So, and in the yogic way of doing it, you create an echo chamber by taking your thumbs and just pressing that tragus, you know, that flap of skin, that's called the tragus, pushing that into your ear holes, and automatically you create an echo chamber. You can hear yourself really loud in your own head. And then the other piece is to take your eye or your fingers and place them over your eyes. You're cutting off external senses, creating an echo chamber, and slight pressure on your eyes kind of activates the OCR, or the oculocardio reflex, which based on the pressure that you put on your eyes activates the vagus nerve, and allows you to kind of calm. So that pressure covering up the ears automatically puts you in a space of parasympathetic drive as it is. And then you just take long inhales, and you hum as long as you can with your thumbs plugging your ear, your fingers over your eyes. Kids love it. It is like, I work with, whether they're 5 years old to teenagers, and they will just go and go and go because kids are imaginative, exploratory. So when you give them a tool like that, you'll see them doing it all day long. They will just automatic, because they love how it sounds. They love how it feels. They get the little tingles in their body. So you're letting them experience what emotional regulation and nervous system regulation feels like in real time without telling them why. You're just giving them a really cool tool. So that's one of, for parents out there, that you can use with your kids. Epic. Fuck a timeout.
That's great.
Fuck a timeout. If you want to give your kids a timeout, tell them 5 minutes, Brahmari breath. Maybe that's a bad idea, because I don't want you to like connect breath with, negative consequences. So don't come at it from that approach. But instead of giving them a timeout, maybe kind and gently, you can remind them like, hey, maybe you should take 5 minutes and do some Brahmari breath. You're seeming a little
I love that, because they were very like, when they were like, I don't know, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, they meditate with me. They did so many things. Now it's a little bit trickier,
because they're becoming little adults. Like when they're kids, they want to explore these things. Wash them with that stuff right now.
So I went, this is good. This is really good. So with that being said, I was let me see. Is there anything you want to bring in with the because I totally agree with you. For me, it's also, I don't like the way the feminism is being portrayed right now. It's so wounded, and like you said, with the masculinity, it's not healthy. But I truly believe as well, when we are becoming more and more aware, if we haven't started to heal the inner child and the mother and father wound, like how we learned what love was when we were
Right.
children,
Right.
and relationship, how to treat each other,
Yep.
and yourself, I think people will be stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to continue to perpetuate your own cycle. And here's the one thing I recognized for myself, because I was on that machismo side. You can imagine. Combat
Yeah, I
veteran.
can imagine.
Like, I was
That's
totally the
awesome.
dude, like, F females. I could do this on my own. I don't need any blah, blah, blah energy in my life. Same thing with the feminists. F a man. I don't need a man. I can do it all on my own. It's like, those are broken camps to be staying inside of. And once I recognized, we grow in another person, we grow in a female, that should tell you how connected as a human being we need to be. We grow in a person. You need social connection. You thrive off of social connection, and not just social connection. If you're a man, you thrive off of being around the nurturing, grounded feminine energy. When you look at men, we are the king of the physical. We are the king of sight. We are the king of safety. When you look at women, they are the queen of the spiritual. They are the queen of the nurturing. They are the queen of the feeling. We need both of those things in a balanced and grounded way to operate in a balanced and grounded way in our own life, whether that means the friendships like we have, whether that means the partnerships you have in your life. And it all comes from a space of recognizing my shit is my shit. It has nothing to do with that sex. It has nothing to do with that person in front of me. I can continue to blame and shame and offload all my trauma and trauma dump on that person, or I can take responsibility, notice, become more aware of what that person is elevating inside of my experience. And you'll know, again, if that person should be around or not. Like, we talked about, you'll know by getting that comfortable feeling in your nervous system, even if they activate or, trigger you in any way, there's this overall comfortable, like, yeah, I feel like I could be safe around this person.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about creating safety inside of your nervous system.
Exactly.
Therefore, you can create safety in someone else's nervous system, allowing them to be who they are. Don't make another person wrong. Don't make another person bad, and watch their walls come down. Watch them authentically show up as themselves because they appreciate the safety container that you've created for them. That's the way I operate. Whether you're male or female, be yourself. Whether we're aligned and can move forward together, we'll discover that, right? Either way, if we aren't aligned, you're not wrong, you're not bad, you're just not aligned. And we're going to go our different directions, right? But if you can operate from that standpoint, you're going to feel a lot more fulfilled in life. You're going to feel a lot more safe and grounded, because now the enemy's not out there. The only enemy ever in our lives is within.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. But do you remember how I made you feel in the beginning? Did you have guard up or not? Do you remember?
No, I didn't have guard up, because but I mean, look at what I do every day.
I'm talking about subconsciously.
Subconsciously, no, there was no signals that you were unbalanced. I could tell that you were in, you're in what I call the villain era phase. I am too. It's a very powerful place. People usually misunderstand it. They judge you as selfish. They tell you that, you should think more of other people, blah, 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 all these other things. The villain era just simply means, in Carl Jung's terms, I'm a Jungian, in Carl Jung's terms, as an empath, as a very deeply feeling person, as you move through this enlightenment journey, it doesn't soften you. That's a lie. That's an illusion. It just makes you immune to manipulation. Whether that manipulation is, oh, how dare you think that way? Or, oh, I can't believe you feel like that. Like, all these things that people say, they don't realize they're making you wrong. They're making you bad. They're judging you right away. All of those things don't exist in my world. Even if temporarily I'm like, ew, Eventually, I pay attention to the 3 fingers pointed back at me. Oh, okay. I see where that is in me. I see where that's popping up. Got it. So for me, no subconscious, like, Jesus, Lord, step back. Nothing in my energy field said anything other than you're in the same position I am, which is what I focus on now with my friendships, partnerships, business collaborations. I don't care if you're fucking perfect. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. If you're in the same energy and the same exploratory field as I am, which is moving forward and focusing more on a balanced and grounded self so you can help others, we can kick it.
Yeah. I love that. I'm just thinking if I felt, I might have had, no, I didn't. Because usually I can have my guard up a little bit.
Sure.
But with you, my nervous system was feeling so safe.
Good. So, I did notice, and that's one of my gifts, the personal things that you told me in the very beginning. That's a good sign that I have kept myself balanced, because if people aren't telling me those things right away, that means I'm not creating safety in your system. If people aren't telling me like their deepest, darkest things right away, I'm like, there's got to be something off with me right now, because usually I create a safety net for people to just let yourself be yourself.
And I love that. I think that's also the mirroring aspect, since I'm doing the same.
Yes.
But I'm not.
I felt that from you.
Okay. But I'm still not used to, like, how can I say? I'm getting more and more used to have you and another male friend, Nigel, right now, that I also feel very like safe, and the other way around. And we can also get like very triggers, but he takes care of it, and the other way around. So it's more like, wow, this is actually the work. Like, this is everything I've been dealing with and healing and blah, blah, blah. Is so worth it, because now I'm calling in you, I'm calling in him and some other people. And also what you said with manipulation, like there's been, I can feel if someone wants to try to make me.
Is there an ulterior motive here? Is there something underneath the surface you haven't told me yet? Hey, come on back.
Or just the fact, okay, for me, I need to have people around me right now and moving forward that take full responsibility for their trauma dumping. I love that.
Yes, you can either trauma dump, or you can recognize, oh, that's my dumpster fire. I should probably put it out myself.
Yeah. But that there is, and like you said, that you are you. I would never want to change the way you are.
Same.
Like, why would I?
Same. I don't care if you have a different religious outlook. I don't care if you have a different, spiritual outlook, physical outlook, diet preference. I don't give a shit. As long as you show up authentically and you are reciprocal with the way that, energy works, like you, and again, your intuition, your nervous system will know if that person is going to reciprocate, or if this is a one-sided type of thing. So it's all just creating that safety within yourself, and then helping mirror that by creating that safety in other people and letting them know, like, you can fully be yourself. No judgment, no shame, no guilt. I'm not going to run for the hills because you believe or call God a different name or blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters for me. It matters how safe you make me feel and how much of myself I can be around.
Yeah. And also for the one who really desire this kind of relationships in their life, I would also say that the more, like, the boundaries I've been like had to set, I would say, like a must. And then like practice.
Yes.
Of course.
Because creating them is one step. Now you have to enforce them.
But then also, and but that it's meant for me, it's meant, our relationship have to energize me as well.
Yep.
Since I'm a lot of a giver energetically, it needs it, because that's what I love about our relationship, is that it's so flowy.
Yeah.
Like it's, and even if you, for example, when you had you needed your own space and you went on to the, like, out in the jungle.
Jungle, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like, that was you being in your space. It wasn't making me feel, I don't like when someone says, oh, that person takes my energy. No, you're giving it away freely.
Boom.
You're not like, no one is taking. So you hold yourself and then I hold myself. So it's never an like energetic,
Vampirism. Yeah.
Exactly.
None of that is happening. There's no succubus type energy that happens there. And you just said the key. That is the key. That is why if you're out there and you're blaming the other race, or if you're blaming the other sex, if you're blaming the other person that you're looking at right now, has nothing to do with that person. It has everything to do with you are an open field. You don't have any boundaries. You don't enforce those boundaries. Therefore, nobody knows where to fit inside of your energetic systems. If you create those boundaries and make them healthy boundaries and find people like Yaya or myself that can mirror those back and honor those boundaries, you'll never have an issue again. You'll never have to blame the other person or the woman in front of you, because you've now stated what you need for yourself. Like I did with you. I was like, yeah, I'm going to disappear into the jungle space. I'm not even texting anybody. And you honored that. It was perfect. Where somebody else might go, oh, I can't believe you. You're selfish. And then they'll push through that boundary like, oh, you got, okay, yeah, you got to go. Like, my Lord. So boundaries are important, and then enforcing them, which is sometimes the toughest part, because if you're a giver, you want to give just a little piece of yourself, but you have to keep things, as you mentioned, reciprocal.
Yeah.
I can be fully myself with you and go all in and give because I know you're going to do the same thing, which means, oh, I'm not over here just giving one-sidedly to somebody. No. Like, I can give to our energetic conversation, whatever we're talking about or working on together. And I know you're going to do the exact same thing. I just don't even have to worry about it anymore.
So how do people, I know that's it, but how do people, wherever they are, if like they are already doing the, the mental, kind of rewiring the thought pattern and all of that, and maybe have started with the nervous system and the healing, what would you say, one thing they can do?
You want to get started on this, then you yourself need to sit down and figure out and sometimes it's hard to figure out what you want. So the easiest way to start is sit down and figure out what you don't want. What will you not accept from other people? What will you not
tolerate? Like,
yes, what will you not accept? And keep in mind, don't keep a finger this way. Also, what will you not tolerate? What will you not accept for yourself? Where will you not accept overstepping of boundaries? Which means the first stage is creating those boundaries. Where will I not tolerate these things from myself more than anything? And then where will I not tolerate it from other people? Know what you will not tolerate, and automatically your list of things that you want to experience will start to show themselves. And then you can start to build and create these healthy boundaries for you, focusing on what you want, what you desire, what you will not accept, what you will not tolerate, what you will say no to. Because if you can make no your vitamin, then you get to say yes a lot more to yourself. So that's the first step right there.
I love it. And also be prepared, and it's fine that it will feel like uncomfortable to set boundaries.
Everything comes from your nervous system. If you're not practicing it daily, it's going to feel foreign. It's going to feel bad. It's going to feel wrong. Just know that means you're headed the right way. If it feels scary, if it feels horribly bad, like at first, if it feels uncomfortable, you're headed the right direction. You have to reprogram this nervous system to safety first before it starts to feel common.
Yeah. And also if there is an old fear of being rejected when setting the boundaries, from my experience, it's I don't know, kind of truly talk very compassionate to my inner child.
Sure. That's
Because
key.
it's not me today that
Right.
are actually like having this fear of reaction.
Right.
And like you said, with the more no you says, the more yes, like you will have in your life. And I would also say, like, in terms of love, I have always been a searcher, like searching on the outside, but somehow I also felt it from within me that there is something more.
Yeah.
And to have high level relationship around me, the closest one, it's for me being rich every fucking day.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people all the time, you can't pour from a full cup. That's ridiculous. That means your cup is no longer going to be full. Have your cup so overflowing because you pour into yourself that you pour from the saucer beneath. That's the way that I operate. Is I just constantly pour into myself so much that I have extra to give.
Yeah.
I have availability to give to other people because I focus on me, because I allow myself to come up with these boundaries, because I allow myself to recognize it's going to be uncomfortable at first. And people, by the way, are going to fall away. Just know that, to your point, what you just said there, the number one, did you know in psychology, the number one question we, within microseconds, ask ourselves, what are they going to think? We all operate. 100% of humanity operates from, what are they going to think? We have to dissolve that completely if you want to authentically be yourself. Think about it. Next time somebody triggers you, no matter what the conversation is, they didn't trigger you. You triggered you because you have these things set up, and it's all psychology is based in, what are they going to think? You have to dissolve that first.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I love it. And I'm thinking we will see what we will have next time.
Yeah, if they even knew the subjects dancing that we have done, like outside, we're here, we're there, we're here, we're there.
I know. And I think that
funny.
For the first time ever, I found someone who also have so much wisdom and knowledge about everything behind the scenes. Yes, we will talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that at some point.
And I love that. But maybe it will be a little bit about, like intimacy and being a man and a woman in a
That's
more
a good one to
conscious
jump
fashion.
into after what we just talked about, because again, most everybody's coming from a very broken and wounded standpoint on that conversation.
I think so too. And the last thing I want to say is that, and that Leland also, like, the more safe your body feels around people, you have your answer. Like, practice that. Exactly. Thank you so much. And we love questions and everything in between as well. And subscribe as well.